Picture this. It's the 1960s. Families are packing into their station wagons. Neon signs glow along the highway, and roadside diners promise hot coffee, burgers, and a slice of pie. These places weren't just restaurants. They were experiences. Roadside eateries defined American travel, offering comfort, character, and a sense of community on the open road. But as times changed with the rise of fast food chains, shifting tastes, and new highways, many of these iconic roadside restaurants disappeared. Their neon lights went dark. Their menus became memories, and what was once a cornerstone of American culture is now only remembered through stories, photographs, and nostalgia. In this video, we're diving into the world of retro roadside restaurants that no longer exist. From legendary diners and themed eateries to quirky roadside attractions that doubled as restaurants, we'll revisit the golden age of travel dining. So grab a booth, pour yourself a hot cup of coffee, and join us as we take a journey down memory lane, exploring the places where America used to stop, eat, and make memories. One Howard Johnson's. No list of roadside restaurants is complete without Howard Johnson's. Once called the King of the Road, it was the largest restaurant chain in America during the mid-20th century. Known for its bright orange roofs, simple comfort food, and 28 flavors of ice cream, it became a symbol of American travel. By the 1960s, there were over 1,000 Howard Johnson's locations spread along highways and interstates. Offering everything from fried clams to burgers, families loved stopping there on road trips because it promised consistency and familiarity no matter where you traveled. But as McDonald's, Burger King, and other fast food giants began to rise in the 1970s and 80s, Howard Johnson started to decline. Its full-service model couldn't keep up with the speed and pricing of fast food. By the early 2000s, only a handful remained, and by 2022, the final Howard Johnson's restaurant closed its doors. Today, the orange roofs may be gone, but the nostalgia lives on. For many, Howard Johnson's was the heart of America's roadside dining culture. 2. Sambo's. In the late 1950s through the 70s, Sambo's was one of the most recognizable names in roadside dining. It started as a pancake house, but grew into a chain of nearly 1,100 locations across the United States. Its branding, however, became controversial. The restaurant name and imagery were tied to outdated stereotypes, which eventually hurt the chain's reputation. Despite its popularity for serving affordable breakfast items, especially pancakes, bacon, and eggs, the negative publicity caught up with it. By the 1980s, most Sambo's locations were either closed or rebranded. The final restaurant in Santa Barbara, California, held on until 2020, when it too was renamed due to public pressure. Sambo's is remembered today not only for its massive presence on American highways, but also as an example of how branding can make or break a restaurant chain. 3. Hot Shoppes. Before Marriott became a global hotel empire, it started with restaurants called hot shops. Opening in the 1920s and booming in the 1950s and 60s. Hot Shoppes was known for its curbside service, burgers, fried chicken, and root beer floats. Families loved pulling up to these roadside eateries, where car hops would deliver trays of food straight to your car. It was casual, affordable, and fun. A snapshot of mid-century dining. But as Marriott shifted focus toward its hotel and hospitality empire, the company closed the final Hot Shoppes location in 1999. For many families in Washington, D.C. and beyond, the closure marked the end of a local tradition. Hot Shoppes may be gone, but its legacy lives on every time someone enjoys a drive-in style meal. 4. Dog and Suds. At its peak in the 1960s, Dog and Suds had nearly 650 drive-in locations across America. Specializing in hot dogs, root beer, and classic American comfort food, Dog and Suds became a staple for families and teenagers looking for a casual meal on the road. The chain was especially famous for its homemade root beer, served in frosted mugs. Combined with chili dogs, onion rings, and burgers, it was roadside dining perfection. However, as national fast food giants like McDonald's and Wendy's expanded, Dog and Suds couldn't compete. Many locations shut down by the 1980s, though a handful of independent franchisees still operate today. For those who remember, Dog and Suds was more than a restaurant. It was a piece of Americana tied to summer nights, cruising cars, and neon lights. 5. White Tower. While White Castle still thrives today, its competitor White Tower has disappeared. Founded in the 1920s, White Tower blatantly copied White Castle's concept from the architecture to the menu. But despite legal battles, it grew into a chain of more than 230 restaurants across the country. White Tower became known for its small hamburgers, quick service, and affordability. Exactly what travelers wanted when pulling off the highway. Its streamlined buildings and neon signs made it instantly recognizable to motorists. But by the 1970s, competition was fierce, and White Tower couldn't keep up. Most of its locations closed or rebranded, and today, only a few remnants of the chain exist. White Tower remains a fascinating example of the golden age of roadside burgers, a direct rival to one of America's most iconic brands. 6. Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken. In the 1960s, country music star Minnie Pearl lent her name to a fried chicken chain that aimed to compete with KFC. At its height, Minnie Pearl's Fried Chicken had over 500 locations across the South and Midwest. The restaurants promised Southern hospitality, fried chicken dinners, and roadside convenience. Unfortunately, mismanagement and financial scandals plagued the brand, leading to its rapid downfall by the mid-1970s, while short-lived. Minnie Pearl's chain remains a fascinating story of how celebrity-backed roadside restaurants could boom and bust within a decade. 7. Colonial Cafeteria Chains. Before fast food dominated, cafeteria-style roadside restaurants were a huge part of American travel. Chains like Bickford's and Luby's allowed families to grab trays, pick from hot dishes, and sit down for a hearty, affordable meal. These cafeterias thrived from the 1940s through the 70s, offering comfort food like roast beef, mashed potatoes, green beans, and pie. They were especially popular near highways, making them convenient for families on long drives. But as dining preferences shifted toward fast, portable meals, cafeterias lost popularity. Many iconic roadside cafeteria chains shut down by the 1990s and 2000s. For older generations, the memory of lining up with a tray and choosing dinner from steaming pans of food is a cherished part of road trip nostalgia. 8. Shakey's Pizza Parlors. Founded in 1954. Shakey's Pizza Parlor was one of the first pizza chains in America, long before Pizza Hut or Domino's dominated. Known for its lively atmosphere, live banjo music, and family-friendly vibe, Shakey's became a roadside favorite during the 60s and 70s. Families would stop for pizza, fried chicken, and beer, often staying for hours to enjoy the entertainment. Shakey's helped popularize pizza in America and created memories for countless travelers. While some Shakey's locations still exist overseas and a few in the U.S., the chain's golden era has passed. Most of its roadside locations have vanished, leaving behind fond memories of red and white checkered tables and jukebox tunes. 9. Stuckey's. For many road trippers, Stuckey's was a must-stop roadside restaurant and gift shop. It's famous for its pecan log rolls, candies, and southern comfort food. Stuckey's became an icon of the American highway in the 50s and 60s. It wasn't just about the food. Stuckey's combined gas stations, gift shops, and diners into one stop. Families could fill up the car, grab a snack, and pick out souvenirs. As interstates expanded and competition grew, Stuckey's began to fade in the 1980s. Though the brand still exists in a much smaller form, the heyday of roadside Stuckey's restaurants is gone. For many, Stuckey's represents the golden age of road trips, when the journey was just as important as the destination. 10. Little Chef's locations, while more famous in the UK. Little Chef briefly expanded into the U.S. as a roadside diner chain during the 60s and 70s. Known for its simple breakfast plates, burgers, and friendly service, it offered weary travelers a reliable meal along the highway. But unlike in Britain, the chain never caught on in America. Within a few years, U.S. locations closed, leaving behind only memories for those who experienced them. That Little Chef remains an example of how not every roadside restaurant could survive in the competitive American landscape. But for those who visited, it added charm to their road trip memories. Retro roadside restaurants were more than just places to eat. They were milestones along the journey. Families marked their travels by where they stopped. The Howard Johnsons with the orange roof, the Dog End Suds drive-in with frosted mugs, the Stuckeys with pecan rolls and souvenirs. Vast restaurants shaped American culture, offering comfort, consistency, and a sense of adventure. While many are gone, their impact is still felt today. Every time we stop at a roadside diner, order a burger and fries, or sip on a root beer float, we're honoring the spirit of those places. The neon lights may be dim, the booths empty, and the menus lost, but the memories remain strong. They remind us of a time when the open road was an adventure. And a meal wasn't just about food, it was about connection, family, and the thrill of travel.
So, tell us, which retro roadside restaurant do you wish you could visit one more time? Share your memories in the comments below.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us as we continue exploring the foods, places, and traditions that shaped America.